I actually grew up in Lexington, Kentucky for a couple years of my life, which is only like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from downtown Cincinnati. And the year before, I was in Cincinnati for a conference with my mom, and we were actually running through the city, and it was hot and sweaty and disgusting and so humid. And I was in a dress and flats that were giving me a huge gnawing blister at my heel. And we get to the conference center, and I remember just standing there trying to catch my breath, and I was like, Mom, Cincinnati's beautiful, but I would never want to live here. And I totally ate my words. And that next time, flying into Cincinnati, exactly a year from when I was there before, I remember getting off the airplane feeling the exact same feeling of, I can't breathe right now. Like, this is so hot and sweaty. It's so disgusting, and it smells weird. But my mission president picked me up along with the 2 other sisters, and I think there were 6 elders that came out with me. And still had no idea what to expect. The traffic was absolutely horrendous. Just kind of like looking around and remembering a lot of what I had seen before. It was kind of comforting to see a familiar place, a kind of familiar place. And I just remember my mission president and his wife just being so warm and welcoming and inviting to us. I don't remember anything that happened basically the rest of that night. I remember they showed us a video, and that's all. I was like half asleep at that point because of the jet lag and everything. And I was just so ready for the next day to get moving. So my mission, we used to do transfer meetings where all of the missionaries that were getting transferred or that were getting a new companion would come to the central location of meeting house in Miamisburg, Ohio. And we'd all get there, and the trainers would have a meeting, and the new missionaries would have a meeting, and then we would all come together and sing a song. Our mission president would talk to us, and then they would announce the companionships, and you'd get up and you'd give your companion a hug and go sit down. And I just remember they always ushered all the new missionaries into that middle front pew of the chapel, and everyone else was already sitting down. And I just remember like feeling really self-conscious and walking down that aisle like to the front of the chapel, and like feeling really kind of, a little bit like very much lots and lots of butterflies. But it was interesting because as I was sitting there, I remember turning around and looking over my left shoulder, and I looked at all of the sisters there, and they all seemed to have this face like they just looked kind of ornery a little bit. And I remember being really scared, but there was one sister in particular that was sitting 2 sisters in, and she looked at me and she just smiled and gave me a little wave. And I just remember sitting there and thinking, that's your trainer. And I was like, I just started praying. I was like, please bless that is my trainer. That has to be my trainer. And then just as we were sitting there, all of my other missionaries, companions that came with me, they were all getting their companions. And I remember when she stood up, and then I stood up and found out she was my companion. I was so grateful inside my heart that I got the nice-looking sister as my companion to train me. And just after that, all of my worries seemed to go away for at least that time. For the rest of that day, I don't remember what happened the rest of that day, but I just remember feeling a lot of peace knowing that God was looking out for me, and that was something that I needed to be able to keep my wits about me in one of the most stressful times of my life. So